Hello, I'm Julia Hankins. I'm children's wellbeing consultant and the founder of Wellbeing Adventurers. And I also work with other kids yoga teachers and other children's wellbeing specialists, supporting them through training, through resources, and through mentoring and free videos like this one. So this video is all about behaviour in the summer term. And so as the weather heats up, so can the behaviour itself in our kids yoga classes. This is something that I've experienced in my own classes, and I know is an issue because other people experience it too. I've seen this discussions in groups that I'm in, and the other teachers that I mentor. I know that the summer term can be a real challenge for behaviour in UK schools anyway, where I am in England. And so yeah, it can be a challenging time for children's behaviour, both inside and outside the classroom. And so in this video, I'm going to be discussing why this might be and give some ideas on how to handle it. So firstly, the weather change is one thing. So as the days become longer and quite often getting warmer too, children's sleep patterns can change and children might find it harder to sleep, which directly impacts their behaviour. They're getting hot, they're getting sticky, they're getting frustrated and annoyed, other people irritate them, they're tired. It's, you know yourself, when you're hot and bothered, it's no fun, and we all have less tolerance at this time. So the weather can really play a big part in the behaviour of the children in our classes. Last week I talked a bit about I've talked a lot about assessments and how assessments impact behaviour. And the summer term is usually in the UK a big time for assessments in schools, all the way from primary to secondary school. And so usually in the summer term from May onwards, assessments are taking place within schools, and that impacts behaviour three ways. Before the exams are taking place or the tests are taking place, often more pressure is felt. The children may feel worries, they may feel anxiety about the tests themselves, they may notice changes around school, workload might be increased for the children, they might have more homework, the school day might be structured slightly differently to prepare for the tests that are going to happen. And so those are the changes that might impact children's behaviour before the tests. And then during the tests, again, there's a lot of changes to the timetable, to the way that the day is run is different in schools, to the way the schools are organised. Just simple things like assembly timetables may change, where children's lessons might take place might change, the way the staff is structured may change for the couple of weeks. There's lots of just small changes that can happen within a school day that children feel. And then there's the feelings around the tests themselves. Children might feel nervous about them, or some children feel excited about them. Some children see it as a real challenge. And then after they've done the test, they might feel exhausted or depleted or even elated. And so there's a lot of big emotions during the time of the tests themselves. And then you've got the time after the assessments, and the children have a real sense of freedom and liberation, and they can get a bit lawless and a little bit feral sometimes too, in my experience. So they've been holding it together and now they don't need to. And often within the school, things can loosen up within the school day too. And this brings me to my third point, which is changes and the future. So in the summer term, there's lots of thoughts about changes and the future for both the staff and the children. So it's time where after the assessments are complete, often the timetables are changing again. And in some schools, there's often more free time. There can be longer play times. There can be more outdoor play. This is due to two reasons. One, the weather is often nicer. And two, if the assessments have already taken place, then the teachers quite often are like, oh, we'll have a longer play, or let's go outside, the weather's nice. It tends to be just a different vibe, a different feeling. But a lot of children are really impacted by those changes. They may like those changes, but it can impact on them. So they're getting more free time, they're getting more outdoor play perhaps. Year groups that don't usually get an afternoon play may start to have an afternoon play in the summer term. If the school has access to a field, children are more likely to access that in the summer term than they are in the other times. And that makes a big impact on the way that the children play, because they have this big field rather than the playground. This is just in a lot of schools that I've worked in. Not all schools have this, but if they have access to a big field, they've got a wider space and they play in different ways. There may be play fighting, there might be cartwheeling, there may be, so there's lots of lovely things that they can do in the summer term that they maybe haven't been able to do. And so that makes them kind of more boisterous and more excitable, but also hot and bothered. So yeah, in the UK, the summer term, the children and the staff are looking forwards to the next term, which in the UK, the next term will be the next academic year. So for most schools, there's a transition day. Where I am, this is usually in July. This is usually the first Wednesday in July. In Coventry, that's the case. I don't know where it is in other schools, but there's usually a day in the summer term where children can transition to the next place. So it could be within a school, children move from the classroom that they're in now to the classroom that they'll be in September, and they meet the teacher and they meet the room that they're in and they learn all about it. And if children are moving from one school to another school, as is the case for year 6 children moving to year 7, they're moving from primary to secondary, unless they're in a middle school, in which case they will be in the same school. Or if the children go to an infant school and then in year 2, they're going to go into year 3 in a junior school. And so they'll be completely moving schools. So for those children, the change is even bigger. And so all of the children, when this happens, they're all thinking, they're already in next year. They're like, oh, that's my new teacher. That's my new classroom. I'll be in year whatever it is. And so that can really impact the way children behave. And they start to feel a little bit like, well, you know, I'm not really here anymore, and nothing you do or say matters, you know, because I'm going there and you don't get a say. And so they can sometimes feel a little bit untouchable and, you know, kind of top dogs, especially year 6s. And this can show both within the classroom and outside, even with their own teachers. And I have experienced this myself as a teacher, and it's no fun. It does have fun. It is fun in some ways, but it's a bittersweet time. So I've got some tips for how you might handle behaviour in the summer. And my first tip is to keep it cool. Make sure that your venue, wherever you're teaching, is cool enough. So opening windows, opening doors, making sure that children have access to drinks, and perhaps consider providing some drinks. It's really surprising how much like a jug of water, a jug of squash and some plastic cups, how much that can feel like a treat for children. So just remember to check allergies and get consent and all of those kind of things. But ensuring that the children have access to a drink is really important, can help them to feel like regulated. Also, something that I really love to do in the summer term in particular is to use a hand fan during relaxation. And so kids just really love feeling the cool breeze as they're lying down and they're having this relaxing story. And you can just walk away around wafting them. If you don't have a hand fan, you can use a big book or something like that to waft the air over them, and that can be a really nice way of them relaxing and cooling down. You may consider starting your lessons with a relaxation. If they're coming in hot and bothered, that might be a nice way to begin. Definitely in my summer classes, that's something that I really enjoy doing, is they come in a bit like fractious, and I like to, you know, keep them cool. Another thing that I would recommend for this time of year, and always really, but hold the space. Make sure that your classroom or your classes or your hall or wherever you are is a place where the children can talk freely about the things that they need to. There may be things that they're concerned about or worried about. Lots of children can feel big feelings at this time of year. They know that changes are going to happen, but they're not really sure what to expect. They're excited about the summer holidays, but again, you know, not all children are excited about the summer holidays. Changes are happening in school. And if you're holding the space and giving some time in your classes for them to talk to those things, then that can be really powerful. If you're teaching within the school day, this is harder. because your lessons will be more structured and you'll have bigger classes. But it's certainly still achievable. It's still certainly something that you can do, getting them to chat amongst themselves, or just giving a few minutes of space for them to talk through things that they need to, or gather some ideas of some emotions that they're feeling at the time. And also, it's really good at this time to gather opinions and thoughts from the children themselves about what they might find useful or helpful at this time. So maybe they've got some ideas of things that they can do that would really benefit them, some games that they might play, or a prop that they'd like to use, just like gathering their ideas and incorporating those into the classes. And my final tip for this time is to be consistent. Try and remain consistent as much as you can, keeping your expectations and your rules the same. Children need to know where they are with you all the time. Even if everything else is changing, they need you to be consistent. And if you do change up aspects of your lesson, so perhaps you might choose to go outside for a little bit because the weather's nicer, or maybe you're wanting to try some different kind of games, that's totally fine, but try to keep some elements of the lesson the same. So if you struggle with behaviour in this time, just know that it's really common for children's behaviour to go off the wall in summer term. Just seek support. There's my Facebook group that you can access. I deliver mentoring sessions if you'd like some more bespoke support. And there's also my training, Tame the Crowd Without Being Loud. Currently, that is just £35. It's an e-course that you can access. You'll have lifetime access. It costs £47 from June the 1st. It's going up in price because I've added in a lot of supportive documents, a lot of extra stuff into that training. So now the price is going to better reflect what's on offer. If you want to get it now at the much reduced price of £35, you have access to everything that's in there. There's lots of different lessons that you can just come in and pick and choose. There's information about the basis of why children behave the way they do, some stuff about neuroscience, some stuff about psychology, and some really practical tips on how you can manage behaviour in your classes, whether they're within the school day, whether they're extracurricular classes, whether they're community classes. There's loads of things in there. And there's also a whole module that's answering your questions. So if you watch the training, and if you buy the training, you have the training, you think, oh, that's great, but it doesn't answer my question, you can email me and I will video my response to the question, and that will go into the course. So the course is always growing, and it's intended to be a bank of support for other kids yoga teachers or wellbeing specialists who work with children, hoping it's going to grow even further. So if you'd like to get that for the bargain basement price of just £35, do so before June the 1st. I'm going to tag it in to this comment here. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it really useful and helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe and click the bell to receive notifications. And also please comment below. I always really love to hear your thoughts, your comments, your questions. And if you have any further things that you'd like to say or questions, do email me, Julia@juliahankins.co.uk. Thanks for being here.